Welcome back to United Opposition with Marshall and Scott. We are here. We're talking about our do we have the proper credentials? Marshall, are we credentialed?
I am. I don't know about you.
Well, let's find out. Here we go. That is right. United Opposition with Marshall and Scott. We are here. We are people who are on opposite sides, usually of the political aisle, ideological aisle, and yet we come together as friends. We come together as colleagues. Are we actually colleagues? Or maybe not colleagues. I don't know. However you want to say it, but we come together as friends.
You're using a lot of strong words right now, and
well, don't I sound intelligent? Don't I sound qualified? Don't I sound credentialed?
Right.
Yeah. Today we're talking about valid credentials. What does that even mean? And who can you put your trust in? Who should you listen to? Why should you listen to us or anybody else? Should you listen to us? Marshall, should people listen to us?
Absolutely. Yeah,
why?
They should listen to us all the time.
Why?
Because we have great opinions.
We have great opinions. Yeah, I don't have good opinions. We have great opinions. Sometimes they're bad, but they're great.
They're great. So they're so bad, they're great.
So bad, they're great. So we were talking. This conversation came up because I had sent you arguably it was a long video. I had sat through and watched it for like an hour and 45 minutes, and I go, "Hey, this is really long. If you have it, if you want to see it and take a look at it." I just thought it was a great. It's what I like to have in the background while I'm doing art or photograph, doing like photo editing or creating stuff to where I don't really have to have anything really going on to concentrate on. Just do. And so I'll put on long videos on YouTube and stuff like that, or podcasts and everything like that. And this was basically an episode of a podcast somewhere where somebody was talking to Charlie Kirk, who is a conservative voice, character person. I don't know how what's the proper way, but a person out there, if you've never heard of him, he has a podcast and politically involved and goes to college campuses and does debates and stuff like that. He's done debates. What's that thing that Oxford does where they're inside, like he's gone all over the place, stuff like that. But I said, hey, if you have a chance to look at this, and you were like, I'm not going to spend an hour 45 minutes listening to Charlie Kirk.
I don't even spend an hour and 45 minutes listening to people I like.
Not even in the background?
No.
That's interesting because I feel like that's a way that I pick up information. Like I just always have it running in the background. Here's this next video. As I'm doing stuff on the computer, I just have it running in the background. Like most of the day, I just have stuff playing, and I feel like I'm getting informed. I feel that's one of the ways that I'm getting informed is I'm curating what I want to hear. I'm not like, because for those you may not know, I said it multiple times on this show. I don't have the news in my house. I don't have television in my house. I don't have cable. The only thing we do have is we got an antenna at our house, one of those HD antennas, and plugged it into our system. We got that back like 4 years ago so that we could watch The Voice, because one of the pastors at our church, Jim Ranger, he was on The Voice, and we wanted to watch that. And that was the first time in 22 years of marriage at the time, 25 years of marriage, whatever it was that we were close, that my wife and I had television signals in our home. Like we just don't have that. But YouTube has been great. Like I just have YouTube videos running all the time. Like it's just and I just get it from all kinds of different sides, all kinds of hearing, and I love getting that information. I love hearing what this person has to say. I love hearing what the other side has to say, and being able to parse all that. And I feel that has given me in and of itself an education. What do you think about that, Marshall? Can someone be educated without a teacher?
Yeah, I think the dirty secret of education is that teachers don't teach anything. You teach yourself everything. So, beyond, basic elementary education, once you learn reading, writing, and arithmetic, teachers, for the most part, actually guide you, especially at the higher levels.
Mm-hmm.
The higher you go, the more the teacher, the professor is really just a guide. And it's up to you as a student to be proactive and take your learning into your own hands. So yeah, I think you can learn by watching things. You can learn by listening to things. Obviously, reading books and such. I think all of those methods of assimilating knowledge are equally valid. I don't care if you listen to an audiobook or read it with your eyes or have someone read it to you or watching it. Usually something tends to get lost. But at the end of the day, to me, it's all the same as long as you internalize the information. For me, though, why I don't like long-winded stuff is you can't really learn with a long lesson or a long lecture. Really, you have to assimilate knowledge in small bite-sized pieces. 5-10 minutes tops is the maximum human attention span, even for a disciplined adult. After that time, you'll find that your brain starts to wander off and you have to come back to the topic. You have to make yourself come back, and it's very hard to stay focused. So what you should do is take and consume information, knowledge in 5 to 10 minute bites, and then stop and assimilate that knowledge. Think about it, ponder it, whatever, and then move on to the next one. Or if a book, one chapter at a time, rather than just, blitz through it. Because if you do it in small bite-sized chunks, the knowledge tends to stick a little better for most people, at least for me. Now, I can't speak to how you learn. You learn the way you learn, and that's fine. But at least with me, I've got to do it in bites, and that's how I prefer to do it.
Gotcha. Okay. I like understanding context, and I like hearing the whole conversation. I like hearing start to finish how this person got to this thought, how this person, where did the conversation lead? How did they get here? Because I have a tendency to be one of those people that I will answer a question by going all the way back to the beginning, because I want to make sure that we're on the same page of is it, and you and I already kind of have a shorthand because we've kind of gone through that on multiple occasions and multiple stuff. So we can kind of jump into a conversation, and we have a whole history of conversing with one another that we can build on. But I do like hearing whole conversations. I do like hearing a person. I'm coming because I'm coming from the church side, and I'm used to preaching a message as a pastor. I'm used to preaching a message.
Audience,
yeah, and people who want to be there. The people, they can get up and walk out anytime they want. These are people who choose to be there, who want to be there, who want to hear from this. But at the same time, I feel that the church format that I'm at right now, the current church that I'm at right now, we've established kind of a time limit on the message. Like the message is 30 to 35 minutes, and that's it. Like the whole service from start to finish is an hour and 5 minutes. And then, we do that again for the attention span, for the, to keep a reasonable time. But the church I came from before, the message was 45-50 minutes. And you were expected to preach for 45 or 50 minutes. And I would teach youth at that church to where the services were an hour and a half long with like 15-20 minutes of worship and 40-45 minutes of message. And I knew when I taught youth, I couldn't do that. We broke it down. Okay, we're going to have some activities. We're going to have this. And I would go 15-20 minutes with, 12, 13, 14-year-olds. But that was I felt was a reasonable amount of time that the attention span could handle that. Even for 13, 14-year-olds, that 15 to 20 minutes is about the top, but you can get a story. You can get a beginning, middle, and end. And I feel like if you just have a 5-minute meme, it's not going to stick as much as let me guide you through this story from here, leads to this, leads to this, leads to this, and this is how we got here. And I think that takes a certain amount of time. And I think that's why, for the most part, if you go to the average YouTube video, like they've discovered that you look at the average YouTube video, it's 17-18 minutes long. Like you're almost not even going to be monetized unless you're hitting that sweet spot. Maybe it might be 13 minutes, maybe it's 22 minutes, but for the most part, it's that 17-18 minute window that we've kind of like, that is the attention span of, what people can handle. So I think it's important to be able to devote at least that amount of time to whatever subject it's going to be able to fully understand the story of it from beginning, middle to end.
Okay.
Says the person who just took like 4 minutes to explain that.
Yeah, I think there's dangers of being, too brief, but there's also dangers of being too long-winded.
Yes.
And everybody's different. You got to know your audience, right? Kids are going to generally not perform as well as adults in terms of attention span. But even adults, after a certain point, after that 16, 17 minutes, that's it.
Yeah.
You need to shut up and you need to let them synthesize that information, because at that point, you're just wasting everyone's time. And that's true at the college level, and that's true at every level. It's true in the boardroom. It's true in the podcast.
So why is it that most podcasts and most radio programs are 3 hours long? Like if you're going to do a podcast or you're going to be on radio, you go whatever it is, if it's NPR, whatever, it's a 3-hour show broken up into segments and stuff like that. But why is that the winning format for those things, for those long form podcasts? Why does that work?
Well, people, like on a podcast, you can pause it, you can come and go, you can come back to it.
Yeah.
Radio programs, the audience comes and goes, which is why the same ads will play all the way through it, because they want to expose you to the ads. And that's
who's to say, like, but the link that I sent you,
practical business format.
You're right. But the link that I sent you being an hour and 45, why couldn't you just watch 10, 15 minutes at a time?
I don't care what an educated individual has to say about a topic. I'm just going
But you listen to me.
I do.
I'm an uneducated individual.
Well, it depends. It just as we all are on most things, but it depends on what you're talking about, right? So if
we've talked about every topic. You're talking to an uneducated person, and we've talked about a lot of topics.
I'm a very nice person, Scott, but
no. Have you? No, I'm going to be serious right now. I know you're being kind of cute. Have you found me unable to communicate with your level?
I found that there are certain things that you don't know as well as I do.
Mm-hmm. But have you found that I'm unable to communicate those things?
I found that I've had to provide what I feel is education, but we've been able to have a dialogue and share opinions, which is fine. I'm interested in your opinion because I know you and I like you and I respect you. I am not interested in the opinion of someone, let's say Charlie Kirk. I don't know if he's even been to college or has a degree or what his credentials are.
But I don't have a college degree and I don't have any credentials. Is that not an ad hominem fallacy? That just because, I just don't.
No, because number one, it's a statement of fact. And number two, it's not a personal attack.
But you are saying I won't listen to that person because of who they are.
Partly because of who they are, because they lack the credentials and qualification to tell.
You don't know that though.
About things like politics, business, and economics.
But you don't know that.
But I do know that because I've heard them speak before. So, it's not the first rodeo. Everybody gets the audition, but if you fail the audition, come back later when you've learned.
The book by its cover. Got it.
No, it's not the book by its cover. You get an audition, you open the book.
Mm-hmm.
But if the book is filled with drivel, then why do I want to subject or waste an hour and a half of my time?
Well, I would say this. I would say you have not read the book. You have read somebody's review of the book.
Okay. All right.
If you have not watched from beginning to end the 1 hour talk that they've had or the 30-minute video that they have, if you haven't watched it from beginning to end, you have not even opened the book, Marshall. What you're doing most of the time, you are reacting to someone's review of the book.
I don't want to read the book, and I'm not going to. Done.
So you are choosing to be ignorant.
I'm not choosing. I'm choosing not to increase my ignorance by listening to somebody who is ignorant.
But you don't know because you haven't read the book. You literally just said you're not interested in reading the book, so you've made a judgment on the book without reading it.
Okay, but
you're choosing to be ignorant. You're choosing to be ignorant. No, you looked at somebody's review of it.
All right. So
if I read the Cliff Notes and don't like the book, am I an educated person on what that book is? If I buy the Cliff Note version and read the 20 pages on the book and be like, well, this book is dumb. Am I educated on that book?
Usually.
Am I educated on that book? You would say, okay, you know that book. You're good.
Because a lot of the words that people say are superfluous and unnecessary. If you distill the information down to a concise summary that's well put together, like Cliff Notes tend to be, then yes, you've probably assimilated the gist or the main ideas of a text. That's why Cliff Notes sell. You know,
Cliff Notes
that's why
sell.
people
Cliff Notes
use
sell so you don't have to read the book, but you can still answer the questions and get your degree.
well, yeah, you can pass the exam or whatever. That's why.
Yeah,
people do
passing
it,
the
but-
exam doesn't mean you know the
Okay.
information.
Well, how else do you know if a person knows the information?
They sat through the whole message. That's how you know they know.
No, there are people who sit there. There are people who read pages and then go back and can't recall what they read. That
Mhm.
happens all the time. There are people who listen to lectures and their brain is tuned out the whole time. You know, so how you learn is individual and it's up to you. And how you choose to learn is up to you. The only thing that matters is, hey, you're learning. And you're not going to have time to read every single book
Mhm.
and listen to every lecture and so on. And I don't think you should have to.
Right, but
And
when
you're
you
going to
but
make
when you put
choices.
your but when you put yourself into a position where you're going to refuse to listen to it to an entire side, and you're just going to read the reviews that somebody on your side has said about them, you're not educated. You're not informed. You're uninformed. You're possibly misinformed
Okay,
because
what
you
does
haven't
Charlie
gone to the
Kirk
source.
know that I
You
don't
haven't
know?
gone to the
What is this thing that I absolutely have to hear him say? Summarize it for me.
I'm not going to summarize it for you. You need to listen to it.
Okay, no, I don't need to listen to it. I'm not interested. It's just conservative propaganda that he spouts, and he gets paid.
And
for
you know
it.
this
Good job.
because
Nice work if you can get it.
and you know this because
Because I've listened to him before.
no, have
I'm
you
not
listened to him or you've listened to somebody's clip of him?
No, I've listened to him speaking, words coming out of his mouth and turning into
In a clip.
glue.
In a clip. Have
Right
you
in
listened to
front
the
of me.
whole did you listen to the whole clip?
No.
Then you didn't
don't
listen
get-
to him.
No, nobody is entitled to an hour and 45 minutes of my time.
Have you
Nobody.
given him 15
Nobody.
minutes straight?
I probably
Ever.
have, yes.
No.
Yes.
Have you
Okay.
ever listened
Look.
to him 15 minutes straight?
Scott, he's not entitled to it. Period. We're done. Okay? He's not entitled to it. No more than anybody's entitled to listen to me. Carry on for 15 or an hour and a half, 2 hours, whatever. Nobody is obligated to pay attention and listen. If you spoil your reputation by engaging in these or whatever you do, nobody is obligated to give you a second pass. Nobody's even obligated to give you a first try. You know, so if you think I'm ignorant about something, then challenge me on the actual topic at hand. You know, and then we'll see if I'm ignorant. Maybe I am. I'm ignorant about most things, as most people are ignorant about most things.
Mm-hmm.
But there are certain things that I know, just as there are certain things that you are an expert on. For example, I've told you you are an expert on Christian theology. You're expert on the Bible.
But I don't have a degree in
film
those. I don't have any credentials in those at all.
You do. You have practical life experience on these things. Somebody like Charlie Kirk would be an expert when it comes to conservative political ideology and talking points. But to me, that is not substantive. I don't care. I know what conservative ideology and talking points are. I don't need to have them repeated at me. So I'm not interested in that. I'm interested in what underpins those, the economics, the philosophy, the governing principles and things like that, the ideas that underpin it. That's what I want to get into. And the problem with a lot of commentators, both conservative and liberal, and why I don't listen to a lot of liberal commentators either, is because they're just on that surface level. They don't.
You seem to quote them a lot, though.
I sometimes do, you know, but here's the thing. The reason why you and I work out is because we get beneath that surface level, don't we? We dive down and we talk about the big ideas.
And I've heard these people do that and you haven't, because you don't care to listen. I've heard these people dive down into those and you choose not to hear that.
Okay. I've made the choice. That's my choice. Do you listen to Richard Wolff? Or,
I don't even know who Richard
Robert
Wolff
Reich?
is.
Yeah, I know you don't. But if I send you one of their hour-long lectures, are you going to listen to it?
If it's a YouTube link, sure.
Oh, God. I don't want to do that to you. I could. But I don't do that to you because I know how that feels. I don't want to be on that receiving end. At the end of the day,
that's for me. That's something that I put on. That's how I soak stuff in.
Okay, then I'll send these things to you. But here's the deal, right? A person who clearly understands a subject can explain it succinctly. They can put it to you in kind of a nutshell, whether it's a theory of
Yeah.
relativity or climate change or theory of gravity or germ theory, whatever. They can give it to you in a nutshell. Evolution, they can give it to you very simply.
Mm-hmm.
And it does not take, it would not take Einstein an hour to explain relativity to the average person. If he
But it
were
would take them 15, 20 minutes. It wouldn't take them 3 minutes.
It's
To the average person, yeah. He would first have to explain some mathematics. He would then have to say, do you understand this? Okay, since you understand this, then it would take 10, 15, 20 minutes for him to give you and make sure you walked away with an understanding of it. He's not going to do it in 3 minutes.
Depending on what your framework is, yes.
He can give you a soundbite. He can give you a soundbite in 3 minutes, but you're not going to understand it.
No, but you would have a layman's understanding of it that would be sufficient for your everyday
No, you
life.
would just have a quote. You wouldn't have any understanding of it in a 3 minute. I wouldn't expect anybody to understand anything out of the Bible in a 3 minute thing. I can give you a quote and I can give you a verse out of the Bible and I can say this says this, but I can't in 3 minutes show you why this means this, and when this happened in the Bible and this over here, and when this happened here in the Old Testament, why that's important for this. That tells the whole story. That's going to take 10, 15, 20 minutes to give you that whole picture so that here you can walk away with understanding. Or I can quote you the scripture in 30 seconds and there you go. And I can say, see, now you have understanding. But do you?
Well, it depends on what level you're going to operate at, right?
Mm-hmm.
If you're going to use relativity as part of your work, you need that longer in-depth explanation, which could be a whole course of study. Whereas for the average person to understand the concept of relativity in like a movie, really a minute or 3 minutes tops is all you need to explain them at that level. And that's what I'm talking about.
They don't have any understanding of it from a movie.
Do you understand relativity?
No, not why. I understand. Like I said, I understand what they've said in a movie in that basically, as you get closer to the speed of light, time moves slower. They've done that so many times in movies, but does that mean I understand relativity?
You understand it at that level. You have a reasonable understanding of it.
I have a quote of it.
Well, okay, but
no, that's all I need to know. That's all I need to know for them to tell me their story. Right. But I don't know relativity. I don't know why I don't understand why it happened. I don't know what led to it.
We're not going to hire you to teach a college course in it, but you understand it well enough to comprehend when you hear it referenced, either in science or in a movie or whatever.
And that's good enough for you?
That's good. I think that's good enough for 99% of the people on the planet. That's fine.
If you can understand it in a movie, that's good enough for you to understand it for life.
Because how often do we encounter or deal with problems of relativity? We don't. It's not part of our everyday reality. Now, if you want to get closer to your side of the argument, let's talk about your Bible thing, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's reasonable to say, in order to understand a biblical concept like what does love your neighbor mean, right?
Mm-hmm.
I could sit here and say, well, love your neighbor means that you have to be nice to your neighbors, but there's a deeper understanding to that, isn't there? And I would understand and appreciate if you were to tell me, Marshall, it would take about 20, 30 minutes of a lesson to really get you into the meat and potatoes of what love your neighbors really means and what it also does not mean. Does love your neighbors mean that you unequivocally accept everything that they do, even if what they do is sinful? Is that
right?
Really
but again, that's a great example because
that's what I'm doing. I'm giving you this one.
Yeah, that's a great example because people have such a limited understanding of what love your neighbor means. The enough of it to know what it references in a movie, they know enough to be completely wrong about it. But you say that's good enough
for relativity.
You're making the argument that that's good enough.
How many of us deal with problems of physical relativity in our everyday life? We don't. Yet love our neighbor is part of every interaction.
So it's about the importance of the topic.
It's the depth of the topic. Yes. So some topics, yes, you need that in-depth understanding and explanation. When you go to drive a car, it's not like, here's the gas, here's the brake, here's the wheel, you're good, and you have fun driving. No, you actually have to practice this and put hours into learning how to drive a car. And that makes sense because of the nature of the activity. So when it comes to something like political ideology,
It's not important.
No, I think
It's not
very
important enough. It's not important enough for you to listen to somebody, though.
It's one of those things where I can hear somebody say something and I know where they're going to end up with it.
But you
And
don't.
99 times out of 100, I'm pretty much correct.
But on this specific topic that launched us on this topic, when I sent you that link about Charlie Kirk and stuff like that, you don't. You are completely misinformed.
So as I recall, when you sent me that, he was talking about men competing in women's sports.
No, it was the very first thing was the him being racist against black pilots. That was the first thing, and then later on, I sent you a link that talks about that was him more because we were talking about how we were some of our
about DEI stuff.
Well, no, but hold on.
I know where that goes.
No, but that's no, you don't. But what we were talking about was we were discovering that we were getting better interaction after our show than we were during our show because we were no longer trying to debate each other. We were just talking. And that's what we hey, let's start recording our after shows because we're it's kind of like we're off. And I wanted to send you a link of Charlie Kirk in off mode. Like I'm like, wow, I'm just listening. He was on somebody else's podcast. Somebody was asking a different question and he was just responding like a human being. And that was, I wanted to send you to say, hey, you can get some really good insight on who this person is if you take some time. And you're like, not interested. Don't want to know who he is. I'm like, well, okay, I guess you can have a misinformed opinion about who the person is if you would like.
Yeah,
I was trying to give you some information on that's where it came from.
One way or the other. I really don't care about him. I have no personal connection to him. He doesn't pay my bills. I don't care about the dude. The dude could go talk into the void for all I care. I have no interest in him, just as he has no interest in me. He doesn't listen to my podcast, so and if you told him to, he wouldn't.
Yeah.
He's got better things to do at this time, just as I do. So if he has a point to make, I might be interested in hearing the point, but I don't know what point he has to make that I would respect hearing his opinion on. Again, he's not educated. He has no credentials. He has no degree.
But again, we're talking about that valid credentials. Why do you listen to me? I have no credentials. I have no degree.
Okay, and I've just
told you only know that you're willing to listen to me because you've taken the time to listen to me and you've discovered that I am capable of knowing things without education. You know that I can carry a conversation and I have valid opinions and I have good logic, even though I don't have a degree. You only know that because you've taken the time to listen.
Okay. But Scott, you are qualified when it comes to certain topics.
Yet we talk about other topics as well, and you still listen.
But I think they're topics where I respect your opinion because I respect you.
Well, what have we talked about?
I know you from childhood. I know your mettle. I know that you've been educated. I know where you're coming from.
Where have I been educated?
We went to the same schools. So there you go.
I went to Bakersfield College. For those of you who don't know, is a junior college here in Bakersfield. It's a 2-year junior college. I went to Bakersfield College for 5 years. Huh?
I went
to Bakersfield College for 5 years and didn't get a degree.
Well, that's okay. I can forgive you. I think you know what you're talking about when you talk about your faith.
You only know that because you listened.
Yes, but Charlie Kirk, no.
You haven't listened.
No. I'm not interested in listening to him. Find me somebody with some credentials or something, and I might give them the time of day. But when they start off with something racism or they just start spewing propaganda, I'm not interested. And that's
somebody told you that. I'm trying not to make this about a specific person. I'm just using him as an example. But you have allowed somebody to tell you something about someone else, and you've turned yourself off from them because of what somebody else has told you about them.
Just because somebody has a big following or they're famous or whatever doesn't mean they have something that's worth your time. It doesn't. Not everything deserves your time.
No, of course not. That's why I don't listen to Ben Shapiro.
That do.
That's why I don't listen to Ben Shapiro. I whatever his following is, whatever. I just don't. I don't like the way that he's not interested in he's not interested in teaching someone. He's just interested in winning an argument. And I don't particularly like that style. So I just don't, but I've listened to him enough to understand, like, okay, I don't think that he's wrong in what he's saying. I just don't like the fact that it doesn't seem like he wants to educate. He just wants to win an argument. And for me, that's the difference in listening to somebody like Charlie Kirk. And as much as I have listened to him, I see that this is a person who does want people to change their minds. He does want people to recognize the misinformation that they have, so that they can change and be better. I don't feel that Ben Shapiro is someone who's trying to make people better. I feel like he's a person who just wants to win arguments and get points. And I don't like that style, but I still understand where I still believe that he knows what he's talking about most of the time. I just don't like his style. So I choose not to listen to him for that style.
Right. And there are people out there who have information and opinions that you should hear and listen to, but you don't have time. And this comes back to,
I haven't come across them. Nobody like, give me somebody. I do make that's the difference. I do make the time. I do make the time. Just give me people. I don't know who they are. Here I am trying to give you somebody, and you don't care to listen. This is somebody I've listened to, someone I've vetted. If you trust, you don't trust my opinion of this person, then.
I have my own opinion that predates your opinion that you're trying to give to me. So I am.
So I'm uninformed.
No, you're perfectly well informed. You have your opinion, and that's just fine. You have your opinion on a person whose professional pedigree is giving opinions. Fine, but I that doesn't interest me in this particular juncture. So, okay, you know.
But I am interested in what you have. Give me somebody.
Oh, okay. Well, I've given you Robert Wolf, and I really think I'm sorry, Richard Wolf. Robert Reich is great. He's actually.
Is he the third?
Oh Lord, no, he's
sorry.
He was.
I'm sure he's never gotten that joke before.
Economic advisor. I think he was labor secretary under Bill Clinton. Professor at.
Oh, well, then I'm not going to listen to him because, he worked for Bill Clinton.
Yeah, well, I wouldn't blame you. But he's pretty good at having things to say and teaching things to people. So he's probably
here's what I'm asking from you. Send me a link, something you've curated, something that you said, look, I've watched this. I think it's really good information for you. I think this is something that you can learn from, and send me a link.
Yeah, sure. Okay. Yeah.
Because you're just saying search this person. I don't know if I'm searching the right thing. I don't know if I'm getting something that somebody else said about him. I don't want a review of him. I don't want somebody who said this is what this person has said. I could find that probably. I could probably find a conservative that talks trash about both people that you said, and I can watch those videos and come back to you and say, yeah, that person's nothing. I want you to send me your information, just like I'm trying to send you my researched information.
Yeah, well, like I said, I don't
what you're saying, Marshall. What you're saying is you don't trust me. That's what that reaction is saying.
No, it's not that. It's just I have no appetite, no patience to sit and listen to an hour-long conservative propaganda broadcast. They can't do it.
I'm saying you're telling me you don't trust me because I'm trying to tell you it's not a conservative propaganda for an hour. I've listened to it and I know what conservative propaganda is, and I don't listen to it. I'm trying to say something that's not, when I'm sending you something, when I'm going out of my way to send you something, it's because I believe there's something there that you may not know. I believe there's something. It's not just, I don't send memes. I don't post memes. I don't, you know that about me. I don't send little things around.
It'd be a lot cooler if you did.
No, but I'm just saying, if I'm sending you something, it's because I believe it's something unique. It's something different. It's something that may change your mind about something if you listen to it. That's what I'm asking from you, and that's what I'm sending you, and you're saying you don't trust me.
Right. So do you remember when you sent me Glenn Beck?
No. When did I do that?
Maybe 2 months ago. But I watched it. I listened to the whole thing. Yeah, I'll have to look in our history.
Yeah.
But yeah, you did, and I watched that one. You know, someone like Glenn Beck or who else? Sean Hannity.
I,
Not a fan, but
uh,
I'm willing to listen to him because he does produce some good content, and by good I mean something that's worth thinking about, pondering.
he's a little more partisan than I tend to enjoy.
He is, but he can put things across in a way and at a level that I can kind of get my teeth into it.
Mhm.
Rarely do I agree, but sometimes he said some stuff like I'm like, yeah,
Dude,
he's right.
A really good one is Bill Maher.
Bill Maher's okay.
Bill Maher is
he's good.
I disagree with him a bunch of this, especially about religion, but
you know, there's some things that he said that I find very troublesome. But yeah, so
these are people I find genuine. These are
Bill
people
O'Reilly, fair kind of, but so.
Yeah, still more partisan.
Mark Levin. Mark Levin's decent. He has some good things to say.
You have better things to say about most conservatives than I do. I would not have put Mark Levin, Bill O'Reilly, or Sean Hannity on that list of people that I would like to listen to.
These are people who have the credentials and the life's experience, and they put things in a way that I follow it, and it doesn't quite grate on my nerves so much. I can accept them. And I can kind of get my teeth into some of their ideas. And I have a feeling that if I had a rational discussion with them, the same I'm having with you, we both might be persuadable. But some of these people like Ben Shapiro, absolutely not.
I don't know that I could have a conversation with Ben Shapiro, but again, that's one of those that's one of those things to where I do believe that Charlie Kirk is on the level that we're talking about with like Glenn Beck and stuff like that. And I was trying to give you something that showed you that. So I saw, I go, this is a real person. If Marshall watches this, I think it would change his opinion about how he sees this person. And maybe it might awaken you to the idea that maybe this person does have some good things to say. And that's what I was trying to send you. And it was just rejected outright.
Yeah. Some things are going to be. Yeah. So.
I'm sad.
Yeah. Okay.
So I want you to send me some links. This has been United Opposition with Marshall and Scott, as we stand on opposite sides of the river a lot of times that flows one way or the other. And I say it flows one way and he says it flows the other way. And sometimes we have to jump in and find out to see which way we're pulled. And that's actually a really good word picture that I just created right now. I'm gonna have to play with that one or toy with that one around. Yeah, there we go. Right. I'll write a book about it. Two sides of the river. Copyright. Nobody copy that. All right. Well, until next time. Thank you guys. Thank you, Marshall. We'll see you guys later. God bless.